But
Hello, friends. I was out. I hit the button, the Hey Go Live button, and the computer informed me that I was out of storage space, and that I'm like, so does that mean that we're not going to record, or we're just not going to store the recording?
yeah, what do you
But
mean?
I think we're here, so let us know if you can see us. World.
Yeah.
World.
Savvy
Are you there, world?
Chips Ahoy.
And people are saying hi, so I'm assuming that means we're here. Hello, a wild Becca. We were also originally joined by a wild JC and Michael. They were here in the beginning. Oh,
hello.
And Savion. Missed Savion. There we go. Hello. A wild Kristen. Somebody was in the trash again, apparently. I don't know if you heard that. She's going to beat some asses. Living the dream in there. We are here. We exist. Hello, Regina. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Have a wonderful dinner.
Hello.
Fantastic. Did YouTube delete my comment? Rude. I don't see any other comments from you, Julie. So possibly. YouTube didn't want to be your friend. Exactly that. It was like, we don't want that. So hello, friends. Today we're here to talk about the wonderful social media going viral, that whole aspect of the thing. I have some questions lined up. Kate doesn't know what the questions are, which makes it even more fun. Julie says, all I was saying was I'll be hearing no ill words about this book. That's all. You may want to skip it, but you stay here and we can talk about it later.
I'm so excited just to hear your opinions, because I was like, it was one of those where as I was reading it, I was like, I don't know that this is going to be like Jess's book. I was like, I can see some of the things that I think she'll critique, where I'm like, I don't know that she would fully. So I'm excited to hear everything.
You're excited to hear all the things I didn't like. Check. Got it. I'm ready.
Yes. And all the things you liked.
Okay. I liked plenty of things.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But yes, so we're here to talk about, we're going to talk about the topic, and then we'll talk about the book, an absolutely remarkable thing by Hank Green. I say it wrong almost every time. I don't know why. I just decide to throw an extra syllable in there for fun.
Yeah. It is fun.
Hello. Would you like to announce our next book early? Yeah. So if someone's just here and they don't care, and they can.
This is very smart. What we should maybe do every time. I like the way you think. It only took us 2 years of doing this to put that together. Yes.
Yeah.
For those of you who would like to join us on our next book club pick, the book we will be discussing it in August, which just corrected me on today, not July, will be The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. And I'm very excited because I have started this book and gotten several hundred pages in and not finished it, because it is a chunky boy, but it is very fun. And I cannot wait to actually complete it when I have some external pressure. So I'm excited. And hopefully you guys will join us. And reading, I know Becca loves it, so I'm excited. I only told Becca I would read it 3 years ago, but I'm doing it now.
So I have the audiobook lined up to get from the library. Smart. I would like in the chat for you to guess how many hours the audiobook. I guess it would be hard to guess because there's so many. But this is an unabridged audiobook. How many hours do you think, Kate?
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be more than a day. Hold on. I'm over here. So, okay, this is the Count of Monte Cristo. Oh, I don't know if you can see the title on here. There we go.
Yeah.
It is this big. Do you see my face? This is how big it is. Okay, it's a chunky boy. My book, for the record, has 1,243 pages of material. So I'm gonna guess 50 hours. Is that too little? That's too much. 42. Is it more than that?
25, 58, 40. You said, oh wait, 52, 100, 80. Hi, Laura. So the version that I have that is an unabridged version.
Yeah.
This is not the full cast version because there is a full cast version that is quite a bit longer.
Oh.
It is. Oh, I lost it. I know the number, but I want to make sure that I'm correct. 47 hours.
Oh. You know what? If you almost average my two guesses, I was close.
Right.
Right.
That is 2 whole days. That is longer than the last Writeathon, my friend.
Yeah. I'm excited. I should also download the audiobook now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, so you can see.
I thought about downloading the abridged version and I was like, but that's cheating. So just read the whole thing.
Yeah.
63.
I'm excited.
It's 2 packs of cookies long. I think it's like 4 packs of cookies long.
I think it's like, yeah, I was about to say 4 packs, 4 sleeves, all of them, a whole aisle.
That's fair. That's a fair way to guess, Becca. I could see how that would work. It's really not that bad, but also I'm like, I don't wanna.
Yeah, I was like, because you read so many audiobooks. I'm like, that's so many books that you could read instead. Like you're exchanging one book for like 5 books.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 books length. So, I mean,
I will say that every time I've read it, though, it has been very fun. So every time I've read the first 100, 200 pages.
Remind me when we're done with the live that I have a thought.
Okay.
You won't remember, and neither will I, but
hold on.
She's writing us a note.
I put in the private chat. Jesse, up a thought. That's all I have.
I'm not gonna hit the thing. I'll leave it up there so that I remember.
Smart.
Okay. So here's what do you think is the biggest positive of being on social media? So by social media, anytime I discuss social media in this, what I'm asking about is like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, not even Facebook, because I don't really know that that's really social media anymore. I think that's just either really old people on there bitching about their lives. I don't even know that that's really considered social media anymore. So TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Where did my question go? This is rude. What do you think is the biggest positive of being on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I think this past weekend with a worldwide write-a-thon is the perfect example of what I think the biggest positive is you're able to find like your community that may not be in person, but you can find them all online. So you don't feel as alone. You have your little niche groups. Of course, the reverse to that is you have the niche groups that just fester and it's terrible. But for the positives, you get to find your community. I mean, we found so many friends through Authortube and YouTube and Twitter and all the other places. So yeah, I think that's the biggest positive. Or also maybe you can find more diverse opinions outside of your bubble. You might have to seek them out, but you can find them at least.
So this month, my birthday was on the 8th, and a friend of mine's birthday was on the 14th. I have literally never met her in person. I've only known her online. We started talking in 2003. I have literally known this girl for 19 years and I've never met her in person.
That's
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Did y'all meet on like AOL Instant Messenger? Where did y'all meet?
MySpace.
MySpace? Okay.
MySpace. Yeah. My face.
Yeah.
As they say at the TV shows. They combine Facebook and MySpace and call it My Face.
Mhm.
On my MyFace page, yes. We met on MySpace. Because she was a musician and I was going to recording school. And now she's a baker and has her own like viral TikTok baking company.
What? Look at her. That's awesome.
Insanity. Michael says social interaction. Mullen says community. Eva says networking and community. Do you mean in general or within the writing community? I mean in general. Just like social media in general. I mean, you can get rid of him. You can put a pillow over his face, but I don't recommend it. You go to jail. Definitely the friends that Bex has made.
Yes.
Meeting critique partners, beta readers. Absolutely. Community and great marketing tools. Everyone's saying what I'm thinking. Aside from finding people who understand your passions, but also the ability to inspire and motivate people. That's actually good too, JC.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I must then ask you, what do you think is the biggest negative of being on social media? Also, I didn't answer that last question, but you guys had all the answers, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest negative. I think there's a mental health toll that a lot of people have just from so many voices all at once. Sometimes I also think going back to like just you can find really great niche groups, but you can also find really terrible niche groups that fester. You have like the 4chans of the of the world and whatever you find there, sometimes. So it's like it
You can
yeah.
fall into a black hole of guru gossip.
Yeah, you can spiral. If you want to spiral, it will just encourage you to spiral. The algorithm will feed you everything that you want. So, yeah, I think that would be the biggest negative. Oh,
Comparison, addiction,
Yeah.
doom scrolling, also
Yeah.
hi. Hello. I think this is one for the last answer, but I will accept it. Social media helped me connect in ways that are easier for me typing and not talking out loud. I 100% agree with that.
Mhm.
Sheer amount of noise, too many people, too much motivation, too many things. Can be very toxic, very overwhelming. All of the trolls. Misinformation. This is my favorite answer. Twitter.
Just
Twitter
Twitter.
is the biggest negative. Just all of Twitter. All of Twitter. I believe that it might not say it now. I think I like unhiatused myself on Twitter. But like 3 years ago when I hiatused myself from Twitter, I said taking a hiatus from this dumpster fire of an app. So I don't agree.
Can I do a quick aside? What made you unhiatus yourself?
I unhiatused myself. I think it was during the last Writeathon, maybe.
Oh. Mhm.
As like, have I posted anything on there? I don't think so. But I took away the I'm on hiatus.
Gotcha.
You guys love the sound of my squeaky chair. Biggest negative is the people who will do anything to tear someone down they don't know. Keyboard courage. Algorithms. Love it. So I think for me, the biggest negative, me who made these questions but did not come prepared, I agree that like everybody else on the train of like the negative side effect of trolls and comparison is a big one. Misinformation is a big one. Twitter for sure. I think one of the things that really like just makes me crazy is not really like everything is surface level. Like communicating with people is all on surface level as far as like I can say that like you and I are friends. We've spent time like we text each other when someone answers back. Like we have face chats. Like we know where each other live. Like you could come to my house tomorrow and I wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be weird. But for most people, it's very surface level. And so I feel like we get it, and maybe not necessarily for us, but like the people who watch us, I feel like people feel like they're part of our lives when they don't really know everything about our lives. And so you get that like weird judgment on your personal life, but like they only see this square of it. Like they don't
Right.
see everything.
Right.
It's weird to be judged. I mean, it's bad enough to be judged in general, but it's really weird to be judged for like 1/10 of my life.
Oh
And
yeah.
we definitely are.
Yeah. And not even like 1/10, like 1,000th or whatever.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, I get that we signed up for this. Don't get me wrong. Like, we didn't just stroll in expecting it to all be sunshine and rainbows, but it's still a negative.
I think it's interesting because back when we started, the Authortube community was so much smaller. And when I was making videos, like in theory, back in 2016, 2017-ish, I was like, I of course knew that some people were getting trolls, but like it doesn't seem like something I don't think I fully processed through what that meant when we started making stuff. So it wasn't really even like a consideration. Like an absolutely remarkable thing touches on that a lot is when you like that one's a much more clear definition of overnight sensation, sort of like you are
The
the thing
actual
now.
viral. Like,
Viral element.
viral. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know that like even our small version of that doesn't necessarily I don't know that you can prepare for it. Oh,
Yeah.
Albert.
That's a big one. Elizabeth hit that one on the head. Codependency, parasocial relationships, pyramid schemes. You're not wrong.
Oh
Pyramid schemes are terrible.
Yes. They are thriving. I mean, they were always thriving, but I feel like the internet has really like given them a renewed source.
Also, hi Sam. I recently learned that MLMs have like changed their acronym to something like it's a different thing now. I don't remember what it is, but they were like, yeah, MLMs. They're like basically it's just an MLM, but it got a different name because
Oh,
everyone's been warned about them already. So they changed their
right.
name.
They leveled up their name. That's amazing. I mean, terrible, but amazing. Yes, girl boss.
Hey, boss girl, babe, you want to make money fast? XOXO. Hey, girl, long time no talk. I can tell you how to make money real fast. No, you can't. Okay.
I'm reading the book Cultish, which was like I feel like it was really popular a couple years ago or maybe a couple months ago or something. I'm reading it now, but it's a nonfiction book about cults, but also like modern day cults, and they have a section on MLMs and the girl boss your way through things and like different stuff like that. It's really interesting.
Gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep,
Yes.
girl boss, gatekeep, girl boss, gaslight, There's an order that they go in, and I don't remember what it is right now, but if Katie was here, she could tell me. Kristen also started reading Cultish. Mullen has read it.
The podcast, by the way, too. I'm like actually fully caught up on the podcast, but not caught up in the book yet. I read it like 30 pages at night before I go to bed and then have dreams of cults.
Duolingo on TikTok tries to be like real people. I don't have a TikTok. Oh, I do have a TikTok, but I don't. Okay, I only have a TikTok so that I can share TikToks with other people. Like someone will send them to me and I think they're funny, and so I'll try to send them to someone else, but you can't unless you have an account. So I have to have an account so that I can send people funny TikToks that other people send to me.
I have an account technically, and I posted one video, and I realized that it would be so easy for me to spiral for hours. The time suck that it would get me if I let it, and I don't think I can let it. So
Wallace actually deleted it off of her phone. a few weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
karate chopped it.
Yeah.
We'll get Sam, and then we'll go to our next question.
Mm-hmm.
Community, the opportunity to improve in ways you couldn't otherwise. Our biggest positives. Parasocial relationships are the biggest negative. Absolutely. This is the good one. You'll like this one.
Oh, I'm ready.
What do you think it takes for someone to become viral on the internet in 2022? Like, what do you think? I mean, obviously, we don't know, because if we knew, we would not be here. But what do you think it takes for someone to become viral on the internet in 2022?
I don't know, but if you would sing to me more often, I would love it. What would it
I mean, I would, but you'd never listen to it anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
I'm just being attacked. Let me see. What do I think it takes for someone to see? Okay, part of it is because I don't have TikTok, and I feel like TikTok virality, is that the way to say it, is like the easiest way to go viral right now is just on TikTok. But also, I feel like the definition of viral has changed a little bit because so many new things are happening. It's like you have an hour or two before the next thing happens. So, what do I think? I don't know. What does it take? Can you put the question back up again? The right keywords at the right time. I think just Eva, summed it up.
Viral on the internet in 2022. I would say that Kristen accidentally hitting the niche, a really niche market that no one realized was a thing, but Kristen vaguely went viral on TikTok herself last year, a little bit. So,
Kristen,
I mean,
tell us the story. I need more info.
Just vaguely. I mean, not into the stratosphere, but better than we're doing. So, look, I did. It was terrifying.
Kristen, I would like several more paragraphs. But that feels like a good summary.
Kristen was making what I eat in a day videos. And they are very good, and I was very much liking them. That was the reason why I originally joined TikTok, but I don't ever get on it anymore. But yes, like that's a for real thing. Sometimes you just hit weird things. Thirst traps. I think thirst traps would also, I mean, obviously not me thirst traps, but I'm sure there are people who could.
I think the like standard rule of like if you can be attractive is usually still like all the I feel like an old person summing up TikTok as dance videos, but like if you're attractive, I feel like that helps a lot. Almost 2 million views in a week. That is, that's viral. What?
Her first TikTok.
What about your
first?
What about the other ones? Oh no, this is like a mystery. I'm like,
I'll send it to you later.
Waiting.
But yeah, like it is the niche market. Be willing to be hated and mocked by millions alongside of being loved to questionable degrees. That's a good point. Because sometimes when you go viral, it's just as much people sharing it because they love you as it is people sharing it because they hate you.
Yeah.
So
I've been watching Love Island, the new season that just started. I've been watching it on Twitch. And there's this guy that came in who I think was like minor levels of TikTok famous for like rapping and dance videos, but then they had him go on and do like some raps and dances, and it was like the judgments of the other Islanders was no good. And I'm just like, the confidence you have to like continually do that is a lot. Oh, does business. New post from new accounts.
Don't make a TikTok until you have a poster ready to send into the stratosphere. Noted. It's too late for me. But noted. I mean, I could make another one, I guess. There's always time.
Yeah.
There's always time to make new ones. I was trying to make Kristen feel better by telling her that it didn't go that viral so she wouldn't have to think about it. But then she was like, nope, it was 2 million people in a week.
You're like, it's
terrifying.
You know what you eat in a day videos are so, I get it.
Also too late for me. Ain't doing it. The one thing online Gen Z can't even attempt to explain. It's a mess, y'all. I don't know what it takes for someone to become viral on the internet in 2022. But I didn't save it because I was doing all of my research prior to this chat in like 10 minutes. But they actually said that the largest number of videos that go viral are things that make you feel happy.
That's good.
Which is interesting because it's not like things that make you feel sad or things that make you feel. I think it was like hunger, anger, like all of your basic 7 sins. Like what are these? How does this make you feel? And happy was like up by double of what the second one was. So things that make you feel happy. But what makes people feel happy is a whole other thing, like different levels of different things. But I thought that it was interesting that people are actually like viral content wise, something that makes people happy.
Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Rug cleaning is probably up there.
Oh.
Makes me happy. You know what? Some nights I find myself doom scrolling on YouTube watching people clean rugs or mowing lawns, and I'm like, what am I doing with my day? What am I doing? Do you know what you could be doing right now? You could be like a 3-time platinum best-selling author. That's not a thing. That's like 3 different industries put together. But
you'd have an EGOT. See, there's something about a nice before and after, though, that I fully get why rug cleaning is as popular as it is. But I'm just like, oh, yes.
Cute animal things. Whole For You pages, people finding kittens. The guy who went viral last week for finding kittens. Did you see that one?
Is he the one who found a bunch of them on the side of the road?
Yes, like he thought he found one, but he found 13 instead.
Yes.
And so like they're making more videos and they've made like a cat corral, like the news are like keeping up with him and his viral story of finding 13. That video is hilarious and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like just random, like, oh, look at this one cat. I'm going to pick up this one cat. And then he looks up and just like more and more and more hop out. And I'm like, that would be me. I would be so happy, but also so distraught at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I would get them all in the car and mom would be like, no. No. Oh, came up. That was baby ducks getting stuck, but got rescued. And I nearly cried. I feel that. Because it makes you happy that somebody is rescuing these little baby ducks.
Yeah.
It's confused. Like, how did they get rescheduled? Well, sometimes things happen. Do you know anyone personally who has gone viral?
I mean, now I vaguely know Kristen.
Do you know anyone besides Kristen who has gone viral?
I don't like personally. No, I don't
Personally.
think so. No, I don't think so. Not that level viral, I should say.
Right. Like, I mean, I know Kristen. I have a friend, my baker friend, who used to be a musician, but now is a baker. Again, never met her in person. I don't know anyone in like my daily life that does like internet things. So my friend met that train guy today, but I don't think that counts.
I don't know who the train guy is, but I appreciate that your friend met him.
Right. I don't know anyone who went viral, and then I don't know anyone. Sort of. What's your sort of?
Yeah, tell us the story, Rodney.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
We just want to know all of your stories. I'm trying to think, like, do I know anyone? I have friends. My friend Kate Kavanaugh went moderately viral when she posted this video called Writing Like Stephen King.
Well, that's what's funny is that it felt very like viral at the time, but also it was still within our like very specific niche. And like viral by today's standards feels a lot different than viral even like 3 years ago. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Because I was going to say, like, Alexa Dunn has like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and some of her videos are like huge. And so I'm like, I mean, yes, I know some people from our community that like have got a lot of stuff, but it doesn't feel quite the same. But it was a weird time.
son went viral on TikTok for a little while, but he doesn't post as much anymore. Curious minds want to know, what kind of content was he posting? 33 people watching this. That's impressive from my place. Mine too. I have 2.5 thousand subscribers and regularly have 100 views on a video, which is like a very small percentage. So thank you guys for being here. You're special and I love you. The train guy is someone who gets so happy and excited when trains go by. They went viral and now seeing trains go by with celebrities. Well, that's fantastic. And now I want to look that up later because that sounds very wholesome.
I was just thinking, I was like, should I open a new tab now? If I just do train guy, oh my God, it does. Immediately comes up.
You're not allowed to watch it right now. We're busy.
I know. It's truly devastating, but okay.
My roommate's girlfriend has gotten millions of views on her dances on TikTok. Not sure that counts as viral. Absolutely.
I think that counts for sure.
Kate Kavanaugh is considered huge in the community by all of the smaller channels. I don't know, Kate, but I'd say her too.
Thanks,
I agree. Making fun of himself in funny videos with his friends. That's fantastic. You know what? Now that you mentioned that, I actually had one of my cousins, and it's been several years ago, had a YouTube video go viral that was him going from like a really skinny teenager to like putting on a lot of muscle because he was picked on for being so thin and so like fragile, and like he did a bunch of workouts and like just like became like this giant. Yeah, he got ripped. I mean, he was like 14 to 16 in this time frame, and there was like a video of like the transition that actually went pretty viral in the like weightlifting community. I completely forgot about that until that moment, but yeah. I feel like it's viral when you have a small subscriber count and massive views. Larger audiences are more likely to be viral. I agree. I think that like it's the proportion of how many subscribers you have to, or viewers or followers, whatever the word is on the app that you're using. But like your connection count to your actual people watched count is a large portion of it, I think.
Yeah. I do think that is how we usually term viral, because if it was someone who was already big, you're like, this TikTok star had a like video they got. You don't say that they went viral if they're already a star. Usually.
Like if you have 3 million YouTube subscribers and you have a video that gets 3 million views, that's just a normal day for you. But like if I made a video tomorrow with my 2.5 thousand subscribers that had 3 million views in a week, first off, I'm moving.
France.
For many reasons. I'm leaving. And second, that would be considered viral. My son's friend went semi-viral and ended up he makes Lego TikToks.
What?
I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
Went viral twice, so that's when I did exclusively Christian content. But you know your market, and that's what matters. Third person. I always refer to her in third person. It's fun because she doesn't answer you anyway. So why refer to her in first person? I think that's the third time today.
Just counting
Christian Louis for literally no reason at all. Oh, God love you, Mom.
Shoes.
And I just aged myself and Kate right there. We aged ourselves, I guess I should say.
We did.
It's a lot of weight loss viral videos as well, but I think there's a lot of viral videos for all niches. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess that's the point too, is that like virality also depends on the niche, because like for small communities, something viral is like 100,000, but then for big communities, something viral might be 10 million. And it's like, if everyone in your community has seen it.
10 million. That's a lot of people.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Don't some of those TikToks get like hundreds of million?
God, that gives me heart palpitations. Yes, yeah, they do. But I'm just like, I don't know. I can't do it. Anyway, spent a whole weekend watching a plane spotter narrate landings in a huge UK storm.
That feels like a good use of a weekend.
If this stream goes viral, you do realize how much a stroke of genius it'd be, right? Well, it won't, so it's fine. We can hope. If it does go viral, the 35 of you who are here watching, you did your part, and I appreciate you.
Also viral.
Next question. Is being a writer on the internet worth it, or does it take too much time away from the craft.
Oh,
It's a highs and lows of social media today, so this would definitely be is it a low? Is she a low?
is she low? Is she low? Question mark, period. Is being a writer on the internet worth it, or does it take too much time away from the craft?
The answer can be yes and yes.
Yeah. I see, here's my thing. Does it take too much time away from the craft? My thing with this question is always like, if I was going to spend that time on the craft, then yes. But oftentimes I'm like, I would have just scrolled on TikTok or what, like I would have just done something else instead. Like normally when I'm doing stuff on the internet that's not writing, it's not because I would be writing instead. It's just like my brain is tired of writing or something, you know? So, but also in general, do I spend too much time scrolling Reddit? Yes. Could that time be spent better? Yes. So like it's a loop.
Oh, I got lost. I'm up to 36, so I'm on my way to viral now. Sam says I can move in with her if I go viral. All right, I have somewhere to go.
You'll be adopted.
Bex, the question I asked myself. Worth it because it's harder to meet other writers in real life nowadays if you don't study it. Excellent point. Most writers need more than one job to maintain their lifestyles. Some use social media as an income stream. Some do something else. You're not wrong. Yes and no. It's worth it to make the friends and have the support of other writers, but it can be so exhausting and overwhelming. Also correct.
Yeah.
Is that the faith community has a lot of fighting about a theological point of view. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. Kate Kavanaugh, Brandon Sanderson, same tier now.
I was about to say, I need to frame this comment so that I am in the same sentence as Rodney, my dream.
Oh. Folks love to demean others' passions by saying they don't invest enough time in them. That's also fair.
That's a great point.
Absolutely. I think it does depend on the person. More productive and can find resources I wouldn't have otherwise. But also sometimes a creator can end up spending more time making content for their platform than doing their writing. Are you calling me out? You can make content for the joy of creating, but I think it's easy that if you're spending 7 hours on video editing and having trouble focusing on writing when you come to it, I feel like I got lost. Glad we're here, but I already know I don't have time to make videos. I mean, fair. Get more done when I stream, so I guess it helps. It's like my brain is clocked into work, even if work is cleaning and not just writing. Also, hi, Kat. Join the writer community in March, but I'll tell you a year from now. That's fair.
I look forward to the update.
It provides an endless amount of ways to feel guilty about not being productive. We're about to go viral. We've got 36 views. Need a Brando and Kate collab. There you go. We'll just
into the universe.
We'll just call up his reps. We've got their number on speed dial, I'm sure. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Also, if we believe in the 100 true fans theory, then I think it's worth it to build that community. Fair enough. Regardless of going viral. Depends on the person and their boundaries. The ability to step back and take healthy social media breaks and to keep up on their craft over the aspects of being a content creator is huge. Kate made a good point, though. It probably wasn't going to be spending that time writing anyway. I mean, you're not wrong. Do you guys consider things like Kickstarter and Patreon social media? Like if you're spending time working on it as part of your website? Yep, that's the word. Good God.
Your platform? Was that
That's it? That's the word.
You went old school back when our website was the platform. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that in regards to this question, if I look at my writing where it is now versus where it was when I started 5 years ago, first off, I've given up on, and I haven't rephrased. I have put down the book that I was working on when I started Authortube because I'm not ready for it yet. It's got too many brain thought processes that I'm not ready for. But the book that I'm working on now, had I not been a part of Authortube, would not have been able to send it to Kate, therefore would not have gotten the feedback that I got that has made the story better. So, like, technically, being on the internet makes it worth it because it makes my stories better. So, while it does take time away from the craft, it also makes the craft better.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's the good part of like infusing the community in with the process. I will say to Becca's point, do I consider things like Kickstarter and Patreon social media? It really depends because I like to be a patron of I'm a patron of some other people and I get like extra content where I will just listen to podcasts for an additional hour, which in some ways is kind of like how I treat. I don't know that podcasts count as social media, but like when I'm looking at like things I have on my work list, I'll have like YouTube and Patreon in the same sentence. So in those ways, they do kind of feel like social media from a perspective. And then you're interacting with people in the same way that like I would on if I was on Twitter. So I don't know. That's a good question.
Good question.
Good question.
I think Alexa did a video where she was saying that if you create an audience based on writers, it doesn't necessarily make sales for books. So it's like create to create if you want. That is absolutely the answer. Authortube is geared more toward writers than readers. I don't see Authortube as taking away from writing, maybe publishing, but the Authortube audience isn't a target reading audience, is it? Definitely not. I think I didn't do Authortube to find readers. I did it to find other writers to have, like, to be fair, when I started my Authortube channel, I was actually starting a booktube channel because I wanted to find people to talk about books with. Like, I didn't even know Authortube was a thing in the beginning. I started a booktube channel based off of reading a book that had like an emotionally soul crushing ending and had no one to talk to about the ending of the book. And then I found booktube. So I started a booktube channel so I could talk about books. So yeah, I didn't do Authortube because I was like, I can find readers here. But I know there are definitely people who have done that.
Yeah. Jess and I have a very similar origin story, especially because we came in at around the same time too. And I also was like, I just want to talk about books. And then Camp NaNoWriMo was coming up, I believe. And I was like, oh my God, I want to talk about this. And I didn't have any writer friends in person where I was at. So I was like, I'll just talk about it online and then I'll find online writer friends. Like that's what I was excited about. And it worked. But yeah, I don't think it was never a thought in my mind that I was like, if I do this, my eventual readers will come. And also because like Jess, when I started my channel and I was talking about writing, the book that I was working on and finishing is not even one that I'm still working on now. I might return to it someday, but it was like a new adult and I realized later that wasn't really a thing in the publishing world and like all this stuff.
There were lots of
The
things
traditional
involved.
publishing world, I should say.
In terms of being in the community and finding writer friends, engaging in sprints and write-athons, I love being an author online. Absolutely. And some nights, not often, but I need to do it more often. I just maul Julie and make her be my friend and join her for sprints online where the people aren't invited. And we just work and get things done. And it's actually been working very well for me to hijack Julie's life. So I'm going to keep doing it. I've never written as much as I have since joining the community, so I technically write more thanks to social media. Agreed. While I could be doing more, I didn't write as much before as I do now, so it's probably my tea that some creators seem to think they'll gain readership when Authortube community is full of writers who read, sure, but are not looking for books, probably. That's fair.
Yeah.
Sharing your journey, you can get readers excited about your book. It definitely did for you. To be fair, Julie, you did have a larger following of readers already from BookTube. Just saying. You are like a weird goldfish. I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Thing.
Goldfish is where I'm going. With writing specific, I love watching YouTube and being in a local Discord. It's an isolating thing. Writing's an isolating thing. I like being able to scream into the void and the void screams back. Same.
Yes.
Fair. viewers, subscribers will purchase from the creators they love to support. They will, definitely. All of my writer friends moved out of LA and I missed writing and chatting with other writers. YouTube ended up being the best place to find new writing friends. We're here. Head out. Or they'll follow Patreons or Ko-Fis. Ko-Fis, I can't ever decide. It's Sam's fault because she says Ko-Fi, coffee, Ko-Fi. I can't even do it. And now I can't say it anymore. Thanks, Sam. We were joined by a wild Charlotte. Good morning, Charlotte. Fish. I almost put you in timeout, Eva. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit over there. I just seen a fish. Hello. Probably would not have a first draft of my novella done. Probably still be working on the outline. Goldfish. No. Okay.
No fee.
That's what Sam says. Coffee, Ko-Fi, Ko-Fi. It hurts my brain. When I joined Authortube, I was coming out of a serious bout of depression and a case of writer's block, so without Authortube, I don't know how long it would have taken me to write again. Also fair. Interwebs with other writers. All of the things. I think I have one more question.
Ooh.
It's a doozy. Are you ready?
No.
Probably not. Do you think our society could handle going back to a time without social media? Like our society as a whole. Would we make it, or would we just like collapse and fall apart? Even if it was for like 3 days. Like if for some reason, say there was a solar blast, and it knocked out specifically social media because that's how they work. Listen, we're getting ready to talk about a book about aliens. It's fine.
It could be weirder. Yeah.
It could be weirder. So say like we have to go 3 weeks without any social media. How many people do you think would absolutely lose their shit? And how many do you think overall we would be okay for 3 weeks without social media?
If it only blocked out social media and nothing else. That's a tough one because I feel like no. I feel like so much of like what we do now is social media driven. I mean, we obviously saw how we all handled the pandemic and like not even not going outside, but like not getting near other people. So I feel like the answer is no, especially since so many people are like more online than they are in person with stuff. Yeah, I was like, butterflies comment, is Netflix still happening? Right? Like, yeah, we'd be fine because we'd be forced. I think we could 3 weeks. 3 days would be interesting because you know what happens sometimes is like Instagram will go down at the same time Reddit goes down. Like a couple of them will all be hit because wherever they store the servers and stuff. And it's usually only for a few hours that you're like, why can't I watch my YouTube videos? And then it's like, oh, okay, everything's fine. You know, I just go pick up a book instead. The horror. So I feel like in some ways it would be fine, but 3 weeks would be pretty substantial to when you're like, is this the new normal? We'll go back to that phrase. So
people have become far too dependent on it. People who grew up without social media probably could.
That's a good point about the distinction between. You know what's interesting for me is that when I write books sometimes that I set in like what seems like current day stuff, I actually don't write them with social media at all. And I think about it and I'm like, actually, if it was a current day story, it's not realistic, you know? Like I'll try and write a contemporary and I'm like, no, how do I write about this without it? Or even sometimes I'll write about it like pre-cell phones almost, where you couldn't always contact someone. And I'm like, it's been ages since I lived in that world. So I don't know why I keep trying to write it like that's the world we're in.
That's fair. We would survive, but we wouldn't be happy. We'd make it, but it'd be really tough for anyone under 40. You're not wrong. There's a lot of comments. We could, and corporations would enhance it to keep us from knowing their. I can't say that word because it's too long. There's too many letters in it. Readers, yes. Most others, maybe not. The society as a whole, I feel like 30-plus-year-olds would be all right after a burnout period, but others But under and over that, it's such an intrinsic part of their lives. My question too is like, if you are in like that 30 to 40-year-old range and you have children, would you make it? Because they're going to be paying attention to you instead of their phone. Are you going to make it? We'd be fine because we'd be forced to. As an individual, yes. As society, no. I would survive, but the rest of the world is questionable. I would get so much writing done, but I would miss the community. I don't know that I would get any writing done, or I would probably just lay. I mean, if Netflix was still a thing, I would probably just lay on my couch and watch Netflix for 3 weeks, and that would be it. We went from 3 weeks down to 3 days. Well, because I said 3 days originally, and then I was like, no, make it 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I changed my mind.
Conceptually, I was like, these are very different things, so I needed to piece through.
Imagine COVID without being able to interact with each other, not hearing from anyone for 2.5 years. I don't know if people could do that mental health wise. You're not wrong.
Well, that's what I was like, you could still make phone calls and text people, right? Are we taking that part out? Like anyone you have the phone number of, or do you consider like WhatsApp, which is how most people text around the world? Like, could you still do those? Like, Instagram would be knocked out, so our Instagram group chats would be gone. But like, could I still text my local friends or something? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think you would. I mean, a text is a text. You could make phone calls.
Okay, so we're really going back to like
millennials are screwed. You can make phone calls.
We have to call people. I think you'd see a huge uptick in calls, though. I think people would revert to that pretty quickly.
Yes, yeah. YouTube counts as social media. Sorry, Charlotte, you're screwed. People have no hobbies. You're not wrong. It's because we're doing this all day long. We don't have time for a hobby. Don't have an actual social media, so I'll be fine. I mean, also fair. Hi, Lexi. Social media destroyed. Meteoroid headed for Earth. Read all about it. Meep, meep. I probably did DNF a comment. It's because I have so many. We'd write stories on walls of caves if we lost the current society. You're not wrong. Everyone's saying older people would be fine for getting LinkedIn as social media. My kids are questionable. I think we could adapt just as we did to gaining access to social media. Interesting thought. I'm over 40 and have a 4-year-old. If I'd survive if I had a closer circle of support to me in actual life. Fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much of our friendships and relationships are online now. So that would be the hardest part, I think.
If there's no internet at all, that's a different story.
Ugh.
Probably self-publishes messes. I would probably self-publishes messes. So much messier stories. Sam, I don't know what you was going for there. I'm not smart enough. We are the TV substitute. I text a lot of people via Instagram chat, so I'd be screwed.
That's
WhatsApp isn't. I cut it down to phone calls only. I went hardcore.
You're like, not even text, phone calls.
My closest friend doesn't have a phone number. We always communicate via social messenger. My cousin has a phone, but it doesn't work at her house because she lives in the middle of nowhere, but she has internet at her house. So she always calls us on Facebook Messenger. Are we talking no social media while global lockdown sort of thing is happening? So everyone's stuck inside, or just regular life with no social media? Regular life, no social media. Like you can leave your house. Everyone has a home phone. I think pre-pandemic there would be a better chance of survival without it, but now we'd miss memes. No Hermitcraft for 3 weeks. I wonder how many people would get rid of their smartphones and no social media. It's a good question.
Can I just real quick? I was thinking about would you consider Goodreads to be social media then? Like the sharing of reviews and stuff?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No Goodreads.
No good reason.
Falling apart.
Mm.
The novels I would self-publish would be messes. Oh, I get you. Gotcha. I was 30 before home computers were common, and most of my friends still didn't even have email, no cell phones, no alone text. I mean, I think I was 12 or 13 when we got our first computer in the house. I was 16 when I got my first cell phone. It was still a T9 text phone. Ugh. Does email count? That's been around for ages. You can email. I will allow you to email. Don't remember regular life. Would we read more? Camera is worth it for a phone. DSLRs are way pricier. They are. Ask me about it. I got one sitting on my floor right now. Okay. I think that has been an epic conclusion to our chat about, what are we chatting about? The highs and lows of social media and going viral and fun things like that. Whoa, just get rid of the background. That's what you were going for.
I was like, what changed?
Just threw the background into the void. Just
Yeah.
Becca got her first cell phone at 28. So you got your cell phone way after they came out, right? Pinterest is media without the social. You know, I will accept that. I was an adult before I had a computer. Didn't have an analog cell phone at 16, but it was like $800 if I used it. All social media out, but MSN Messenger is back. You know what I miss? I miss ICQ. It was fantastic. You could find anybody. Anybody.
I'm over here like, I don't think I know what ICQ is.
Oh my
Is that in
God.
the same era of MSN?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I missed it. I was like,
Eva's got me.
I'm
Can we
out.
just keep MySpace?
Ugh.
Oh, MPGs, you know. Nope, can't have those. It's social media. Sorry.
I love seeing just like the slow mental like calculation of does it count? Yep. Or throwing it out.
ICQ is the lesser known cousin.
Oh, okay, thank you.
May not have crossed the French speaking countries. That's fair. It was just like, it wasn't even a full page app. It was just like this big in the corner. Uh-oh. Got a message, you know. It's a great time. So we are going to change our chat over to talking about our book that we read, which was An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I did it this time. Go me. I would like a raise. I get paid nothing. So if you could multiply that by 3, it'd still be nothing, but I'll take it.
Yes. I'm ready to chat about this book because I had all of the feelings.
Right. So again, we'll be discussing An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. It is a book about a girl who finds a statue in New York City in the middle of the night and makes a video about it. And unbeknownst to her, the statue showed up in lots of big cities all over the globe. And her video, because it was the very first one to go up, goes viral. And the story kind of follows like her and her friend group, like trying to navigate her being viral and what that means for her and her friends and the world as a whole. And where the heck did all of these statues come from? They're called Carls because she named one Carl. Now they're all Carls. Biggest question. Did you read the group book? Well, I mean,
ensues.
Julie would like you to know that you're only allowed to say nice words about the group book. But did you read the group book? Good night, Malin. 38. We're almost viral.
I did read the group book. I also did read it like several months ago. So while I am very excited to chat about it, I did have to pull up several reviews so I could remind myself. I should just like write my own reviews and then I wouldn't have to do this.
What? No way.
I know. Crazy that I can do that.
Weren't you using the other app, the
Storygraph?
Yeah, that one. Weren't you using Storygraph?
I'm using it to record my reads, not to record my thoughts about the reads. So by the end, by like months later, all that I remember is being like, this was really cool, or this was not really cool, or like I can remember a couple things about why I did or didn't like a book and like why or who I would recommend it to. But after that, I'm like, it is gone.
Or I did read it, but it was a while ago. It was like May for me, so I think no. April? I don't know. It was around in there.
Yeah.
Would you like to give your spoiler-free thoughts?
My spoiler-free thoughts. Yes, I will attempt my best. I really enjoyed, I think Hank Green brings something, having become a viral sensation more or less himself. I don't know that it was quite the same overnight thing that the main character experiences, but I like that he definitely comes at it with a lot of empathy, even though the character I think is also like understandable, but also she's like unlikable in some parts. And it's nice to kind of get her reflection on that because of how the book is told, which I thought was really fun. It's like her writing the book, which as someone who's also been writing a book that's about the person writing a book, I was like, this is what I need. This is what I want. So that part was fun. I don't know that I thought the other characters were as like highlighted as punchy. Like they were very distinct in my mind, but like because I think of the role that the character plays and the way it's told, they don't really get much of a time. What else? What else did I think? I should have known it was going to end the way it ended because it was a duology, but I don't think I fully understood that it was going to seemingly cut off in a way. Is that spoiler free? I wasn't a huge fan of the way it ended, I guess, but I also did buy the second book, so I will be reading it eventually.
Mary hasn't read it, but would like to. Julie read it a while ago, reread it more recently, likes it. It's not perfect, but loves the duology because Julie has read the second book as well.
Yeah. You know what I will say? Also, it's I think the promo, it makes it seem like it's going to be more sci-fi heavy than it was. And I did not think, as someone who's like not the biggest sci-fi reader, that's not really a problem for me, but I guess I was definitely expecting more sci-fi and it did not feel sci-fi at all. So I don't know if the second book is much more sci-fi, but
I would not have expected it to be sci-fi at all had I not heard other people on BookTube talking about it. I just thought it was like a contemporary.
Okay, that's fascinating. Yeah.
So I knew it going in because I had heard other people talking about it, but wouldn't have known otherwise. I agree. I think that non-spoiler thoughts. I think that Hank did a fantastic job with his characters. A lot of straight white men can't write female characters, but there was not a quivering bosom to be found, as I wrote in my review. So I appreciate that. The characters were not very likable, in my opinion, but also relatable, which says something about myself. Am I not likable? In which case, it made me think more about not liking myself, and therefore that made me like it less. You know what I mean? Like when you're like looking at this character and you're like, I feel like this is me, but also I hate her. Do I hate myself? I'm not here to reflect on myself. I'm here to have a good time.
Yeah. Am I looking in a mirror right now? Why is it terrible? Yeah.
Right. Why am I feeling this way? I personally felt like the beginning was way too relationship drama forward. Did not appreciate it. Thought the end was too fast. So the pacing was off for me. I did consider DNFing this book multiple times. but was told by Julie that I was not allowed. So I did not.
Oh, I'm so excited.
This book made Jess go down a self-analysis journey she did not sign up for, and you are correct. I also agree with Julie. It's very approachable in terms of sci-fi. It's not like super sci-fi heavy. It's more of like the average layperson like being involved in like a sci-fi surrounding. So when you're in the main character's head, because it's in first person point of view, you're not like getting everything and being overwhelmed with all of the sci-fi things.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. And
yeah.
I have heard several people say that the audiobook is the only way to read it because the text is weird in the physical copy.
Interesting. So I actually did read it fully as an audiobook. Usually I try and like switch back and forth so I can get a vibe or a feel. The audiobook narrator was phenomenal. I really enjoyed her narration. And I don't know that I would have enjoyed the book as much as I did were it not for her.
Took me out a bit because it was focused on the whole social media overnight fame and the consequences of it. Yeah. A bridging book between contemporary to sci-fi. Yeah. It's not sci-fi heavy, but it's there. It's just a nice trickle.
Yeah.
Do you know what you rated this book, Kate? Would you like to share with the class?
If I were to rate it out of 5 stars. I'm always so bad at rating things though, because I will argue with myself till the very end. I appreciate your rating system. I do not have one. I would give it like a 3.75. I'll settle on
I gave it a 3.5.
Oh, okay.
So, Julie. Because I can, and I love you.
Wait, what did you rate it?
Julie rated it 9 million stars. Julie gave it 4 stars.
Okay.
Per according to Goodreads. I don't know if she has a random weird point scale, but it's a 4 on the internet. So, I mean, technically mine is also a 4 on the internet because I round my 3.5s up to 4.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
But technically I didn't say a bad word. Well, that's because we haven't gotten to spoilers yet, Julie.
Yeah.
I gave it 3 when I read it. It's enjoyable, but not the best thing ever, which is fair. We are going to go into spoiler territory. So if you have not read the book and you don't want to know any spoilers, now is the time to leave. If you have not read the book and you don't care and you would like to hear some spoilers, we gonna talk about them. In 3, 2, what? When the Carls were introduced. Nope. When the Carls were first introduced, what did you think they were?
Okay. So here's the problem with reading books that are heavily recommended off of BookTube is that it is impossible to escape hearing something and like taking it in because I was fully convinced. I was like, well, they're obviously aliens. So the whole time, so like I don't know that I think I must have like taken something in from like hearing other people talk about it at some point because I didn't know anything about the rest of the plot, but I was like, well, they're aliens. So I thought they were aliens. I don't know. What do you think they were?
I feel like I didn't know. I knew the book was sci-fi, but I didn't know that it was aliens.
Alien sci-fi. Yeah.
So I think I just more thought that it was like a new type of material that someone had invented.
Okay. So like what they kind of first suspected is in the books too then.
Right.
When they get the scientist girl involved, whose name I cannot remember any of these characters. I'm so sorry.
Julie, obviously aliens hovering metal that has a strange temperature equals aliens.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like a weird science experiment. Now, to be fair, it didn't take me very long to figure out that it was aliens. It didn't take me as long as it did the rest of the world inside the book. But when I first seen Carl, what did you think he was?
Yeah.
anybody else? It's a very curious answer. And what do you think about like what they thought it was? Do you think that they um like took too long trying to figure it out? Do you think it was reasonable? Like the route that they took?
Here's the thing, in the age of like internet hoaxes, if you're not in the town to see it, I can fully think that it's someone's like what they think at first it was like an art project or like
Yeah.
I don't know, an art there's a different word that's not a project that's more serious. But like, you know, they thought it was that kind of thing. And you're like, oh, they're all popping up. I could see a company doing that to get to hit
Yeah.
viral. So I don't know that I thought it was weird. And also in like you know, maybe more countries would have talked to each other sooner than they did. But I like that Hank included some countries that like segmented it off and was like, we're locking this area down, and others where it was like, nah, you can still kind of go up to it and it's whatever. You know, I thought that felt realistic, but I do think maybe other countries would have talked to each other sooner and like sent more people out. It felt like the government was always like several steps behind April and her friends, which like some of it made sense because she's the one who gets the dream first and like all these other things. She discovers it first, but like, I don't know. First, okay, Grace. Yeah. I think I must have heard that too or something. So I was like, oh, alien. Carl's an alien.
Carl's an alien.
Did you think it was realistic the way or how long it took?
You know, when I was reading it, I was okay, so there's a lot of things I could say about these characters and the stupid ass decisions that they make.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it was me just being like, is this bitch really doing this? This is the choice that we made? All right, sure. Let's see where this takes us.
Yeah.
Was a lot of it. Now, I had to be like, okay, she's like 21. She's not very old. She's in her early 20s. She's clearly deranged. I mean, girl's got problems, so I guess it makes sense, but I really struggle with our main character.
Yeah, I really loved, I guess it kind of feeds into the social media aspect, but like this was clearly a character that already really wanted to be liked. And I think when you have that sort of like, I'm going to say quote unquote toxic trait, when you already have that, when you so desire to be liked, then putting like a little bit of internet fame on that, I think just like it's a fucking explode. Like it exacerbates it so much. So a lot of her things that she does was really frustrating. And but then I'm also like, well, that type of person, when you have that thing, it made sense, you know. And I think, yeah. Some of it was really frustrating though. That's one of my bigger complaints. Is I was just like, this
Yes,
character.
absolutely. I hate every single one of these characters. Why am I still here?
Yeah.
Was what I was thinking at 30% when I was like really considering DNFing and Julie told me I wasn't allowed.
But in a lot of ways for me, it was like a kind of wonderful train wreck. So like it motivated me. So I don't think I ever felt like I was going to DNF it. I was like, I have to see what crazy things they're going to get up to next. It's like, what dumb decision will they make here? And of course, they make another dumb decision.
That was one of the first new books that like wasn't a reread for me in like 2 months.
Yeah.
So it was tough for me to get into as well. So I mean that's probably part of it. It wasn't like an instantaneous book that I picked up and was loving from that like from the get-go, and I probably would have enjoyed that more had it been, but it's fine. How would you have responded to the sculpture at 3 a.m.? What would you have done?
I mean, you know what? I would have taken a picture of it and sent it to my brothers, and like that would have been it. Not even one with me in the picture. I would have just been like, lol, okay, and walk on. Like I would be the person, all the people she talks about walking past it or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be what I would do. I'd just be like, okay, that's weird. Especially in like New York City. I'd be like, there's other weird things going on here. Yeah, Julie. I'd have walked around it and ignored it. Yeah, I would have been like, nah.
I don't even know that I would stop like here locally, like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, if it was in town, like if it was downtown and there was
Yeah.
a sculpture in the street, because they do weird things in my town, guys. Like there's a fundraiser that they do every year where the businesses let the seniors from the high school use toilets out in front of their shops and like decorate them. So like it's weird here. So would I have thought twice about that? No. I would have just been like, what are these kids doing now? I don't even know that I would have taken a picture. I would have just been like, cool, peace, and kept on keeping on.
Well, you know what, Jess? I want a picture of those toilets now.
If I'm ever down there on dumping day, I will get you a picture.
Okay, good.
I was like 30 when I realized this was a thing that's been going on for years. And I was like, what kind of hellhole is this?
Yeah. Like, who decided to do this first? That's my question. Like, what was the first year of this? Like, one person did it, or like.
Yes, used toilets. Like, grandma's getting a new toilet. There's not really anything wrong with her old one. It's just from 1943. It's probably pink. Save that one. We're going to need that for dumping day. I don't even know what the theory is behind. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But yeah, I would have just been like, that's cool. And kept on going.
I can't remember exactly why. Why did they decide to do it again? Oh, the art needed to be shared. That was it?
Yes.
Wasn't it? Okay.
Yes, the art must be shared.
Yeah.
That's a big old cup, girl.
I know. I just got it. It's huge.
It's bigger than your whole head.
Mm-hmm.
If you had the dream, would you be one of the people who were fully interested? That's what I wrote. Or would you just not care? Like, would you do the thing where you like off yourself in the dream so you can just go back to regular sleep?
Yeah, I would be that person because I really like sleep and like that I don't think the dream sounded fun to me. Like when I'm asleep, I don't want to be solving puzzles. Like
Well, and they said when you woke up, like you felt fully rested, even though you were up solving puzzles all night. But yeah, I don't know that I mean, maybe if like I could hang out with people I didn't know in the real world.
Yeah. But that's not what it's like you alone. You know what? Like maybe I would do it. I will say though, as someone who's played the video games where it's like I can't remember what it's called. It's like an open map concept where you can go and explore anything and do like the side quests.
Yeah.
I'm not a side quest person. I'm like, let me go defeat the bosses person. Like, I want to just go as direct as possible unless there's something cool that I want, and then I'll go back. But like, I'm not an explore the map girl. So I don't think I would be like a let me explore the dream girl either.
Same. I think I would be like, fuck, another one.
Yeah. And also, I don't want the same dream every night. Like, that does not sound fun to me. I'd be like, just let me dream of flying or something.
Well, and Julie said 1000% too stupid to participate in the dream because it was so specific. Like you had to like, I guess the chat rooms would have made it easier because you could have like went to the chat room and found like if someone said, hey, I need somebody who like knows something about XYZ to like try to figure this out, and you could go to that specific one. But it would take so long to just travel around this place looking for the one clue that you had the smarts to actually figure out.
Yeah, that's true. But now you're convincing me because I love a good like chat about like the TV show I'm watching, or like that's why I like Goodreads. I like reading what other people are saying about the thing that I'm also consuming. So I could totally be like, oh, I want to see what they're talking about. So maybe I would participate like once a week once everyone else has already figured out the clues. I'd be like, okay, I can get a little bit farther now and like kind of explore a new area. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm done.
I'm done. Intrigued into puzzles, so it would interest Sam. Sleep is to rest. I'd be jealous that I had nothing to offer, like no unique worldview that would help solve it. Same. I would be like, man, I'm too stupid to figure this out. It would be so cool if I could be the one to figure out this thing. But I would not figure out the thing because I'm too stupid. So, like, it's fascinating to me, like, the number of people that were just like, in this dream world, like, I got this.
You know what I did think was interesting was that, again, I apologize because I remember none of the characters' names, but that the girlfriend or ex-girlfriend ends up being like the leader of the Dreamers and stuff.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating take, especially after she'd seen what happened to the main character and how obsessed the main character got. I thought it was kind of interesting. Some of it felt like a weird revenge thing later that's like not really revenge because she was genuinely interested in it herself, but like you're not the only one that's important. April May or whatever her name was.
Her name was April May.
Was it? Okay. I was like, they said it so many times that it's like, that's the only thing I can recall. So
also, it's April May.
Oh my God. How did I not notice that this entire fucking time until now? I hate it so much more now. No, this whole time.
And now we know why Kate can't guess all of the clues in the dream world. Because she can't even get the one on the page in the real world.
Oh my God.
God love you.
I hate it. You know what? It's much more obvious as I'm reading reviews that now say April May back to back, but maybe listening to it, I was like, did I think it was MAE? No, I couldn't have possibly. I just don't pay attention. Oh, that's terrible. Hank, why did you do this?
April May.
April May. What was her brother's name? Is the brother's name? Do we remember? Was it fucking August? Like August, September? Okay, whatever.
October, November. May, June.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a teacher in school whose name was June May. Seems rude. A choice, capital. A choice. Let's see. Here we go. How do you feel about the Defenders as a villain?
Okay. See, this is the part where I was like, Hank, you've done it. If I'm remembering the Defenders right, were they the ones who are like, they're evil? The Carls are evil kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was genius because that felt so very realistic, especially in the time that I can't remember exactly when this book came out, but it was in the Trump era, right? 2018.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah. So like I'm sure as Hank was writing it just felt very realistic. I thought the leader felt realistic. I thought they were good villains. Which I don't even know if I guess they were antagonists. Yeah.
I mean, they are outside of April May's choices in life, they're the only real villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
right. Outside of April May being a villain to herself. Yeah.
To herself. I found it very interesting, which I didn't make a banner, but knew I would talk about it. I found it interesting that like one of the biggest weapons that the Defenders used against April May was like her credibility based off of her like saying that she was a lesbian, but then actually being bi. And they were like, well, you can't trust her. She doesn't even know what sexuality she is. And I'm just like, how is that even a thing?
Yeah, I will say that was the one thing, like, I'm a little bit confused because this book is clearly taking place in like our time-ish, right?
Yeah.
You have the YouTubes and whatever, it's like maybe a few years in the future kind of thing. And I just don't, bad people are gonna make any excuses they want, but it just didn't make sense to me how everyone went along with that. Like the publicist being like, well, you need to say you're this. And she's like, but no, I just don't think that that's really how it would have gone down. That's the one thing that as I was listening to it, where I was just like, no, like, I don't know. Maybe 2018.
I understand people not understanding people who are bisexual in that, like, they say, like, you have to choose one or the other. You can't like both. Like, you're not allowed to like both chocolate and vanilla ice cream. You must only like one, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, I grasp that concept, but I can't understand them being like, well, if you tell people you're bisexual, you're not trustworthy.
Yeah, the biphobia, I mean, biphobia is very real, but like it also was not I don't know, the presentation of it in the book was a little bit interesting to me, I thought.
It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Defenders were realistic to me considering the time Hank wrote it, and I felt only confirmed with how people reacted to COVID vaccines. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Cancel culture. Well, and it was like even people who had supported April May when they were like, oh my gosh, she's bisexual. We can't be her friend. Like, we can't support her now. Like, that's where you draw the line, not the 53 other stupid ass decisions she's made.
Yeah, it just
this is the one where you just cut ties.
I know. It just did not make.
It was a weird hill to die on, Hank. How differently do you think this story would be played out in an era without social media? And obviously, the story itself could not have played out without social media. But what I mean by that is, how differently do you think a story would go if Carls arrived to the planet Earth in an era without social media?
Yeah, like if it was back when like we all would have heard about it on the news, or if you lived in the newspapers and whatever.
If it was 1920 instead of 2020.
Whoa. How much longer would it take for us to all realize that there were a bunch of them in different areas? Maybe like a few weeks.
It was in major cities.
Yeah.
And I think there was like 3 in the United States.
Yeah.
So the United States would probably figure it out within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like getting mail around that time would have been how long it took. We're like, we need to figure this out now. I feel like really what we would have is you wouldn't really have an April, May figure in that case. Right. How would they all come together, since that was also part of it, is that everyone needed to help each other to unlock the dream? I guess it would take a lot longer as well. But also, like, I don't know, the point of the Carls was to like reconnect humans, right? In a kind of weird sort of way. So yeah. I don't know that they would have even been needed necessarily back in the 1920s. I mean, maybe to not make, I mean, I don't know.
I was looking to see if I could get somebody to tell me. I know that there's an answer. Like the earthquake of 1906 in San Francisco.
Yeah.
How long it took the East Coast to find out about it.
Yeah. I like Maria saying some countries would have even hidden the fact that they had them because of distrust of their neighbors too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. April 19th. So it was like the next day. So they sent it via telegram. So in the 1900s, it would have been within a day or two in the United States. And then if it was 100 years prior to that, it would have been weeks.
Yeah.
Hidden the fact. That's what you just said. May, June, or June, July. I agree. So a lot of it, not just how it changed April, but to learn about the other Carls. Yeah, I think my question is not worded as the prettiest way that I want to word my question, but like, would it have made sense? I guess I would need to read the second book, but would it have made sense for the Carls to come earlier? Or did they need, like, were they waiting for us to get to, like, have they been wanting to send us a message since 1642, but they had to wait for us to get to a place where we had social media and we're all interconnected for them to, in order to come here to give us the clues and the dreams and the things for us to figure out? Like, have they just been like waiting for us to get to where we are in order to solve their puzzle?
I think that's really interesting.
Need to read the second book, I guess.
Yeah. I still do too.
Their answer may not be there, but I have one final question.
Okay, well, real quick, who do you think would have been the main, in your version of this, if it was actually like 100 years ago, who do you think the main character in the story would have been then, if you were to rewrite it and make like same premise, but 100 years ago?
Had it been in the 1920s, the main character would have been a middle-aged white man.
Yes.
Definitely a white guy for sure. Because women were not allowed out that time of night. So.
Do you
And
think
he probably would have been popular. Like, he probably would have been, like, they would have taken a picture with him and Carl on the front page of, like, the New York Times, and would it have been as big as what she was? No, because the speed of media communication was not as fast. But yes,
Yeah.
I do think that it would have been popular, but not have spread as quickly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Some poor middle-aged white guy had to find a Carl in the middle of the night. Do you think Carl saved April? Is she still alive?
See, this is the interesting part about like what do we think happens in the next book? Why did I think it was like they, instead of her being like physically alive, for some reason I thought she was like transported into like not into a computer game, but like her personality's there. She's just not human anymore, kind of thing. Where it's like, and then you can debate what is being human, sort of thing. Is it so that's where I thought it was going potentially. I will see. I still am not like, I don't know. I might have to reread. So here's the thing with the ending, I was a little bit confused because I'm with you. It did start moving a little bit faster that I don't think I fully pieced together what completely made April May special other than she found the first Carl, which the way that he was the way that the Carls were talking at the end made it seem like she was almost chosen, not just in that she found them. And so that's where I'm just kind of like, wait. So,
like, what specific skill set does she have that made the Carls choose her? Was it because she was dating someone who was smart enough to figure out all their clues? She was best friends with someone who had a video camera? Bitch was getting shot at and stabbed, and she was like, I'm just going to go to this warehouse by myself. No?
That's okay.
I don't know.
The part I'm also confused by is at the end, it felt like to me she'd finally pieced it out. Like in some ways where it's like she couldn't do this alone. Like I thought the message had finally sunk in. And then she's like, lol, gonna go to an abandoned warehouse. And I was like, nah. I thought it felt like a regression of her character, which is realistic in some ways, right? But also was not satisfying in the way I wanted it to be. I was like, you fool. We have watched you be a fool and you continue to be a fool.
I wonder if this is a weird. We're going, okay.
I'm ready.
So, if the Carls chose April May, they chose her for a reason. There's something special about her. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hank Green wrote this book about a girl going viral and made her the person that she is with the personality traits that she has. Okay. We all of us that I have seen who have read this book and who are people who have been on the internet have found ways to connect to April May, as terrible as she is, and make us question ourselves. In a roundabout way, is Hank Green telling us all that there is something special about us that we should be proud of, that would make the Carls want to be our friend?
I feel like that is such a sweet interpretation of it. I don't know if that's what it is, but I think that's very sweet to imagine. I like thinking of it as like we all have these different impulses inside of us, and it's just which way you're going to lean. And I think people who maybe, we talked earlier about the reason we got into BookTube was like we didn't have any in real life friends to talk about it with, but like it does still take some kind of personality mesh to be like, you know what I'll do? I'll film and edit a video of myself talking about the book in order to find people. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something.
We are a certain kind of people.
it's like, yeah, it does feel very like we are, yeah, are we all April, May? Where it's like, I just don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, so I think that was the problem the whole time where I was like, I would never be this stupid and yet fully have like done repeated stupid things in my course of being online and been like, why did I do that? That was bad for my mental health. I'm like, whatever, and just continue to plunge. So I don't know. Yeah, it did feel quite, it felt like Hank was on a journey within himself. But I did it fine. Yeah.
April Mays, we met along the way. Anything else that you would like to discuss? That was my last discussion point.
I feel like, God, what was the book we read? We read a couple books where one or both of us just like fully shit on it. And I feel like this did it's one of the few books where I thought the main character was unlikable, but relatable. And like, I continued to want to read about her, which I think is a very hard line to tread. And I really liked the narrative way that Hank chose it, made it feel not as preachy as it could have been, because he's kind of heavy-handed throughout the book, but because of the way it was told, it didn't feel quite as preachy as it had potential to. And I'm excited to see if the second book will be like more figuring out about the aliens and less about April May's journey, now that we've switched over maybe to her friend's point of view. It did throw me for a loop when I heard Hank Green's voice, though, on the audio at the end. And I remember it said it at the beginning that it was going to be like narrated by these two people. And I was like,
right, because I was waiting for the second person to come in.
Yeah.
The whole dang time.
Yeah. Yeah. It did reveal in some ways where it's like, well.
Oh, and I didn't say this throughout this video, but we did talk about it. I've talked about it with you and I've talked about it with Julie too. I don't have a physical copy of this book, but I swear to you, I heard while listening to this book somewhere, like it had to have been early on, like in the first 100 pages, where April May was like, doing her exposition about writing her book and all these things. I swear she said before my death or before I died or something like that in the text of the book. And I need a physical copy so I can look for it. But I swear I heard it. Like, no, I knew the whole time she was going to die because I heard it.
Yeah. I think so too, because there was something I was like, I'm not just getting a sense for this. Or he's just great at foreshadowing, where I was like, it's clearly going to have, like, she was so dumb several times that it's like, of course she's going to get herself killed. But I think you're right. I think there was, I really did enjoy so many parts of it, but I think maybe once I read the second book, I'll have a better feeling for the story overall, because what it feels like to me is there wasn't really a conclusion that I found satisfying. It really did feel like the novel got chopped in half for me. Like, I know he kind of tried to sum it up or like finish it off, but it was not a satisfying end to me. So if I really enjoyed the second book, I might raise the thing as a whole and just think of it more as like a really long book instead of two halves. I didn't find it satisfying that way.
To really hurt Julie's feelings, do you feel like it was more or less of a satisfying ending than the Laini Taylor book? What's that book called that we read?
Oh, Strange the Dreamer.
More or less satisfying ending than Strange the Dreamer. Two books that Julie loves. Let's do it.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Julie.
Well, I was just thinking like duologies that kind of have like an abrupt ending. That's two of them we've read for book club.
Maybe what I'm learning here is I don't like duologies.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't like where they cut off in duologies. I understand. Just attacking Julie today. I understand that you need to cut it off somewhere, and that in some ways it is like the midpoint twist sort of thing that you have to be like, Rah-ha! But I don't like it. And it just,
maybe you should do an experiment on your channel reading duologies and see if you don't like duologies.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I will have to tell you.
And then maybe you should not write them if you don't like them.
You know what? That's probably, I don't know if I've had an idea for a duology. Now I'm going to be rethinking everything.
Or write all of the duologies, but make them the way you like them.
That's true. I will challenge myself.
I mean, it'll take you 30 years to read enough duologies to get a clear idea.
Consensus, yeah. What about you? Did you prefer Strange the Dreamer or the ending?
Oh, the ending? I preferred the ending in this book versus Strange the Dreamer, but because you know what the ending is from the prologue of Strange the Dreamer.
I think that's why I was going to say I think I'd choose Strange the Dreamer only because I did not read that stupid prologue where I was like, whoa.
Right. You were like so shocked, and I was like, I knew this was happening from page 2. They already told me this was happening in the prologue.
See, I like what Grace is pointing out. That's how I feel, but I don't know that I've read a duology where that has been true.
I don't know.
It really, to me, did feel like, and I knew we were approaching the end, which is when I start getting like, there's no way he can wrap all this up, and of fucking course he doesn't. Like, it was not. I'm just glad I read it when the sequel was already out. Like, it would have...
Oh, yeah, people who had to wait.
Oh, it would have angered me so much.
I would have, like, thrown the book and hit a wall.
I would have been so mad. Yeah.
I have to wait. How long? Rage. Absolute rage.
All the rage, yes.
Okay, friends. That's all I have for tonight. Kate, do you have any other comments, questions, or concerns that you would like to address?
Jess, please join us for in reading Count of Monte Cristo. We will talk about if we maybe would throw that book too.
In August, we'll be talking about the Count of Monte Cristo. In July, we will be on the 4th Tuesday, not the 3rd Tuesday, because I'll be in a cabin in the woods with Devasia and Katie and Stieg.
Yay.
So I'm not available that day. So we're doing the 4th week. What's our topic next month? I don't know. That's Kate's thing. It's her month. It's her turn to decide what the topic will be and show up with questions that I don't know of yet. Like I do to her all the time.
Just surprise you. Yes.
I like surprise questions. Also, I love that I made the questions. You did not know what they were, and you had quicker answers than I did. So
it happens every time. The times I've tried to surprise you with them too. I'm like, did I think about my answer to this when I was making it? No. Why would I?
It's fine. You've hurt Mariah. She's never read a book that big.
You could do it, Mariah.
Rude Kate is after camp, so there's a topic.
Yes.
It'll be towards the end of, yeah.
Yeah, it might be a wrap up. We'll have to come up with something.
Okay, if that's it, I'm going to hit the button. Say bye.
Bye, friends.
My heart is so hollow.